guys, welcome back to my channel. So it's like 1:30 in the morning, but I just finished watching the movie A Fall from Grace on Netflix, and I'm not going to be doing a movie commentary like other videos that'll be on my channel. I'm just gonna talk about the movie because y'all, and I almost didn't make this video because I'm like, Erica, it's 1:30 in the morning, but I had to because I didn't want to forget anything. I probably am gonna watch it again. I might make another video after I watch it again, I don't know, but I had to get my thoughts out. So this movie's about 2 hours long, or it's like a little bit shy of 2 hours, and I'm not gonna lie, the beginning of it is kind of slow. Like, I wasn't bored with the movie necessarily, but there were parts I was like, you know, whatever. Like the acting, I was like, okay, the wigs, Tyler, you gotta talk, because you gotta stop with these wigs. The acting, some of the acting was kind of bad, some of the script was kind of bad, but the plot twist got me, and it got me in my chest. Like, it was really, really good. Her husband was fine as hell. That should have been the first statement, because that's that serious. Her husband was a beautiful, beautiful man, and I'm very grateful to Tyler Perry and the casting and everybody else for putting him in this movie, because it was definitely top 3 for reasons I kept watching. But y'all, this movie was really good. So I know it definitely portrays some stereotypical tropes that we're kind of tired of seeing in Tyler Perry movies. And I was so ready to make this video only talking about that. But that plot twist really did get me. I was on Twitter right before I came to make this video, and there were some people who were like, y'all didn't see it coming. I saw it coming from here on out there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, please don't watch from here on out. But they were like, from the first lawyer visit to Sarah, they just knew, okay, yeah, I knew something was off, but you didn't predict that. You're capping. You're absolutely capping. Like, yes, there was something wrong with her. I really just thought she was like beating the women, which is bad, obviously, but I literally just thought she was beating the women. I did not. How is the lawyer visit sketch? And like, oh, she must be the one conning her. No, that's not what you thought. You were lying. You were trying to act like we're smarter than everybody else, and it's really not working, because you did not predict that plot twist. You didn't. Like, yes, I definitely thought there was something off about her, but you didn't predict the plot twist. If you're saying on Twitter that you did, I might let one person slide. I'm not letting all these people who think or who claim that they knew. No, you didn't. So yeah, what pissed me off was when Sarah got on the stand and didn't know how to lie properly, and I'm like, okay, perjury, blah blah blah. Why can't you lie? You're grown. I think you should know how to do this. The lawyer, I don't remember her name. She was an okay actress. Some of her lines were bad. Her line delivery, like when she got mad at her husband, she sounded 7 years old, and I was like, okay, what law school did she go to? Because I need to make sure that anybody in my family or friends who ever want to go to law school never attend, because that is a bullshit program. Sis was like, maybe if I keep saying go to the stand, they'll forget that I said the defense rests. I'm so far from a law degree, it's crazy, and even I know the rule. Just because you stand your ground does not change the ways of the law. And honestly, if that would have changed, I would have been like, Tyler, stop. That's not how that works at all. I was really scared that Tyler was gonna like write it in to where she actually got Sarah to take the stand. What was she gonna say when Sarah did take the stand? What were you gonna say? I get it, you're trying not to make that the last thing that the jury saw, but what else were you going to ask her? You've already asked her all the questions. She's already answered all the questions. I don't know what she even would have asked her. So I'm like, what are you? That whole scene was so unnecessary to me. I'm like, I wanted her to make a bomb ass closing argument and she looked incompetent. She looked completely incompetent, which is why sis was found guilty, because her lawyer's incompetence. Second, we don't prep people for the stand. I knew. I'm like, it was the prosecution's turn. I said, this cross-examination is gonna go crazy. It's gonna go terrible. I was very worried, and I had a right to be in it. It panned out. I'm like, she did not prep her ever. She's just, oh, I hope she doesn't blow it. I mean, I'm not gonna coach her on how to answer questions. I'm just gonna pray that she knows what she's doing. You're trying to get sis off a murder charge. We can't rely on faith. It's not like she robbed a convenience store. Sis is on a murder charge. Prep your witness. What are you doing? Like, oh my goodness, I cannot. That was so bad. And then, oh my God, there's so much good. Really, the end of this movie carried this movie, because before the end, I was really prepared to be like, Tyler, you can really just go ahead and put it down. I don't know. It was just, the acting in a lot of places were really weird. Or just a lot of scenes. I'm like, what is this? I'll tell you right now, though, I don't think this was ever going to happen to me. But now that I've seen the worst case scenario played out on screen, I'm going to tell you what will never happen to me. If something happens, my husband dies, I get a divorce, and I've been alone for 7 years, I'll be alone for the rest of my life before I ever let this shit happen to me. No. And I'm a sucker. Like, some of the shit he was saying, I'm like, yeah, damn, that might have got me. It won't. It really won't, because no. Sis got, and she didn't deserve it, poor baby. She sure didn't, but it was bad. Another part that I thought was unbelievable was her husband letting her walk to Sarah's house. We've seen the relationship this entire movie, and I'm not saying he thinks she's incapable, but he 100% would have driven her all the way to that house. He would have walked with her it was supposed to be like a 5-minute conversation. He would have stayed. And the minute he got there, he would have been like, oh, this is where I just was a couple of weeks ago, where a woman jumped off and committed suicide in the backyard. And to that point, was there not a follow-up? I get it. I don't know what the elderly population is, like the percentage of elderly people that commit suicide, but I have to believe it's very small, because, I mean, you're already, like, what are you committing suicide for? I'm not saying older people don't have mental problems. I'm wondering what that percentage is, and I think it's significantly smaller than people younger than 50, and Shane, I think was the white woman's name, looked a good 65. So, like, did no one ask Sarah, hey, why did she jump? Like, she said, I have nothing to live for. What was she talking about? Like, did no one ask? And would her husband not have been one of the people to ask said questions and then would have recognized Sarah during the entire process? Or is that what? Oh, and I got that photo back. I don't know what that was from. Anyway, because, like, towards then he got that photo of Sarah, but I don't know if it was because they'd run a check beforehand, if they were still running a check from the woman who killed herself. I think maybe that's what it was. Regardless, I will say that kicking door down, he heard that phone ring, he said, oh, I'm sorry, I asked for my wife. You will open this door and you will take me to her. Sir, Shannon, I think was his name, or his real name was Maurice, so I'm gonna call him Maurice. Got a nice secure cranium going on, because she definitely hit him more than at least 8 times. I'm not surviving 2 blows to the head, let alone 8. Like, what are we doing? That was several blows with a bat, and I get it, she's older, but those were some hits. That was significant blood loss. He should have bled out. He should have bled out and been brain dead. 2 things should have happened to where he would have never been able to recover. Sis left her son for dead. She had those handcuffs on and dipped. He said, sorry kid, they're probably gonna kill you. I'm not sticking around for that. She's like, I gotta go, I'm really sorry. I'm wondering, towards the end, when the reporters were like, they've been doing this for 25 plus years, they've been doing this for 25 plus years. He was 30. So has he been swindling elderly women since he was a toddler? A child? He's max only been doing this for 10 years. Yeah, 15. I don't know. Like, how are you swindling old women as a teenager? Like, you've got to get their stuff. I don't know. I need to know how he got all the old women in the basement. Why was Alice able to just walk around? That was never explained. I know you need Cicely in the movie because you gotta have an OG. I get it, Tyler, I do. But why was she able to just walk around? Because on one hand, I'm like, did they already take her social security number? But she bought groceries for herself. And I'm assuming they bleed these women dry, so with what funds? I just keep thinking about her. She was such a bad lawyer. She said, maybe if I'm passionate enough, I'll win. You still have to know how to do your job to win. You still have to be competent in your profession to win. I promise you, I felt it in my soul when it was time for Sarah's cross-examination. I'm like, she wasn't prepped. And if she was, it was off screen. And that would have made me mad at the filming and the directing. But she wasn't prepped. You prep clients. You prep witnesses. I'm sorry, not clients. You prep witnesses. This is basic stuff. I don't understand why it wasn't done. And, oh my God. I'm Sarah. Like, if I'm Sarah and I'm not actually a part of the scheme, he's asking me, I don't know. How long was your phone call? Well, it seems to me you have my phone records, so how long does it say my phone call was? Because that's the correct answer, obviously. What did you guys talk about? Oh, damn, those phone records don't come with the transcript. That sucks, because I don't remember what we talked about. I'm really sorry. Jesus. I'm really sorry. I don't remember. I'm elderly. Bitch, you're old. You could have said you were old. He wouldn't have been able to say anything at all. Lord, but it was a good movie. I don't know, age gaps in certain relationships, like once you get to a certain age, they don't always mean that they're gonna end up like this one did. But he was asking a lot of financial related questions really early. He never been in her house prior to proposing to her. They had sis reaching for those CGI fireflies. I'm like, Tyler, there's a reason you don't do CGI. There's a reason. And the reason was good, and I don't think you should ever do it again. The fireflies didn't even appear until she opened her eyes. That's not how fireflies work. That's not how anything works. It was just bad. It was just really bad. Sarah's really bold. I know I'm jumping all over the place. My mind's like remembering different parts of the movie. Sarah's incredibly bold for wearing that necklace in court or anywhere around. Oh my God, I forgot Sis's name. Yikes. Anywhere around Grace. There we go. Duh. Name of the movie. Anywhere around her. Your son never takes that necklace off. Why on earth would you wear it around her at all? At all. I'm like, sis was cocky and arrogant because no, even that little touching of her son's hand before she walked off, she could have seen that. She could have seen that. I don't know why she did that. There's just so many little moments. I still really need to know why Alice was just able to walk around and speak to people, because honestly, and if I'm the lawyer and Alice is walking around and she's like, this is my house, and I get it, the whole crazy old woman, stereotype, She literally is like this. I'm following her, or I'm taking, like, where do you think your house is? Like, at least let her come face to face with her delusion. Like, where do you think your house is? And she would have taken her to that Sycamore Street address, and shit would have happened. She would have been like, oh, damn. And then that way she would have found out the truth, not in the actual house. And I get it. Suspension needs to happen. The story's got to happen. The plot's got to happen. But I think common sense should also happen. You know, it was a really good movie to me. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I would have given it prior to the plot twist, because I wasn't paying attention to time. So I thought when she was like going to jail, I'm like, damn, you know, I'm like, that's the end of the movie. Sis is fired. Grace is going to jail. Damn, the son really did. You know what I mean? Like, that's where my mind is. And then they zoom in on that necklace, and I said, I'll be damned. Like, what the? I was like, I know Tyler did not decide that this is what he wanted to do, but it is. He did this with his chest, and he meant it. And I'm not really mad at it, for real. I'm just like I'm a talker, so I'll have comments during the movie. A bitch was silent. A bitch was stuck. I'm still stuck, because who concocts this? Like, do you know how you have to raise someone to where they will have this? Like, what do you tell them? And why were they still living mediocre? Sis said, I take care of old women. I see one old woman, singular. Where are the rest of the women that you supposedly take care of? Why has Grace never seen your basement? Questions that need answers. I need to know the timeline. Like, Grace killed her husband before that woman jumped off the balcony. I don't know what the timeline was. They weren't really good with dates. Like, I don't actually know when court happened. Like, how, because I know August 17th was like the night in question and all that stuff. But when was the suicide? How long was she held before she even met the lawyer? And then after that, how long did they talk before she went to trial? Because I heard something about they've had this for months, and then she was like, I just got this 3 weeks ago. Because honestly, if I'm Sarah and I'm actually a good guy and they're asking me all these questions, I'm 70 years old. I'm 60 something years old. That was in August. It is currently November. You're asking great questions, but I don't know the answer to them because I'm old and because that wasn't yesterday. What? Like, you're not finna ask me, this grown old woman, all these questions from August. I'm sorry. Someone couldn't even ask me what I did last week. I will not be able to tell you. This week was so long. It's our first week back at school. So glad it's a 3-day weekend because I'm finna. But, oh my gosh, I'm trying to make sure I don't leave anything out because I'm trying to remember the movie. Her husband was so fine. The son, I think that was something that they were trying to make a thing for, they were really trying to convince us. I'm under the belief that the son never actually even went to the house, that was just a part of the story that was fabricated to make Grace never want to admit to being not guilty. I don't think that was ever something that really happened. And two, if the son had really did it, like, I don't know, I've been watching a lot of movies and I've been watching a lot of people talk about movies and stuff like that. If the son had really done it, there would have been like subtle camera shots zooming in on his, or like he'd be the focus of a frame, like he'd be the background and become the focus. I hope I'm actually being clear about that. There'd just be more shots of him looking guilty or looking concerned when certain pieces of evidence were talked about, and they didn't have any of that. They really didn't even do it on Grace, which is, I think, subtle ways to tell the audience what's happening, but he wanted a big plot twist, so I kind of get why he didn't do that. But if the son was the person who'd actually like fully killed him and disposed of the body and all that stuff, then that's what they would have shown. And Sorry, 1 a.m. is hitting me in the face. Or what is it? 1:53. All right. But I don't know. They didn't do any of that, which was really not helping and convincing me that the son was the guilty party. He barely had any lines or scenes, really, like, just at all. So I get it, and I get why introducing it was necessary, because it reinforced why she never wanted to, plead not guilty. Like, I get that, but I think they needed to sell that a little bit better for us, so that the plot twist hits us even more, because I need to be convinced that the son disposed of the body. I need to be convinced of whatever. They brought up that blood spatter, and then it was never talked about again. I really didn't like that. Yeah, they mentioned that blood spatter, and then like the whole pile or puddle near the door, as if, something else had happened, but they didn't say what the scenario would be to cause that kind of puddle. And then they didn't really explain how, like, I'm assuming she just picked him up and took him home, but did they stand at the door for 20 minutes? Like, why was there that puddle there? Because it would have had to literally have just been like falling out of his face. I don't know. And then there should have still been a trail of blood leading out the door. Like, there's just a lot that wasn't fully talked about for real. It was, and I get why. Well, this movie seemed incredibly low budget to me. I saw on Twitter this one person was like, it looked like they filmed it in 5 days. It kind of does, because there just isn't a lot of, I don't know, like, it just, the budget did not seem there for me. Like, if you've seen a lot of other Tyler Perry movies, like, yes, a lot of them have very similar tropes as far as depiction of Black women and Black men. I personally think a Black woman broke Tyler Perry's heart, and I think he hates men more than women do. So, yeah. He does not portray, I think he hates bald men. The man in this movie isn't bald, but that hairpiece, Lord Jesus, fix it, was so tragic. I don't know why she gave him the time of day after that. I know looks aren't everything, but that was unexcusable and unacceptable and will never be forgiven. It was really bad. I would never let myself get bitched by somebody whose hair looks like that. That was ridiculous. I cannot. So, sorry, no. It was clever what they were doing, I suppose. That's not what I was talking about, though. I lost my train of thought. Damn it. I think the movie overall was a nice movie. It was a subtle movie. It definitely wants you to pay attention. I think it's really slow in the beginning because it wants you to get all the subtle stuff. I knew, and honestly, the trailer gave away a lot for this movie. Like, when I was explaining it to my friend before we watched it, she was like, did you see it already? I was like, no, the trailer was just really telling. But so I knew, because I knew she killed him, because I knew that he was the one who had done something to her when he came to her office with those flowers, and he just started taking pictures of her. I was like, the minute he walked behind her desk, I was sus, because I just kind of think of, and this is the word, but like when I work in retail, like, customers can't come behind the counter. There's a reason there's a counter. There's a reason there's that barrier. If you work behind a desk, people aren't, unless they're your coworkers or your boss, they're not supposed to come behind your desk. So once he did that, I was already like, isn't this like an actual breach of some sort of contract that she had to sign? Like, randoms who don't work at the bank should not be allowed to go behind desks. And I get it, he's your boyfriend, you're supposed to, but there are rules you can follow. Like, if her bosses were to walk by and just saw this random and these sunglasses he refuses to take off just behind the desk, excuse me, hi, yeah, who is this? Can he, that's what the chair is for. That's what the chair on the other side of the desk is for people who don't work here. So that was a problem for me. It's like, I knew it was bad news the minute he didn't just come in and sit down. He went straight for behind the desk, and it wasn't even just for like the kiss. It was, he lingered, started taking photos. Speaking of photos, I want to know why her bank statements were open post-sex. Like, she remembered him taking the photos when she was like, oh my god, you know, I'm like taking pictures of me naked. Why is your computer open with customers or clients and your bank information? Y'all just had sex. What do you do? What's going on? Why is your computer open? What are you doing? Because that wasn't even the day he had brought her breakfast. Like, that was directly after. Why is your computer open? Furthermore, when you see documents like that, there's asterisks. No number is ever fully written out. How are you stealing her passwords? Where were they? What were those? Just leaving gaps out. I knew there was something wrong with him. Honestly, she was telling the story of how she killed him, so there was obviously already something wrong with him. But my friend and I were watching the church scene. Sir looked like the devil was trying to find its way out. My man was twitching in the house of God. And now I need to go back and see how the mom reacted with him being weird. He had those glasses on still. Let God see you. Let God see you. And he looked like he was just Sir looked like the devil was trying to escape him. Like, I can't be in here. This is the house of God. I cannot physically, mentally, emotionally be in here. That's what he looked like. And it was so, I knew right there. I was like, and problem. And problem. He looked like he just couldn't handle his environment. And I'm like, good sis, you are a church woman. You can't have no man who cannot literally stomach being in the house of God. No, no ma'am. No ma'am, no sir. No thank you. No thank you. What else had happened? Oh, that I don't like being checked on. I don't like being questioned. I would have been like, that really sucks because I'm checking on you and I'm currently questioning you. Answer it. Answer it. Please hit me because we have our joint names on everything and I need to be able to file something against you. And I think, unfortunately, you hitting me is the only way I can get out of this marriage. I would have been like, right here, because you're going to jail. I'm getting you out of here. That is the only reason he didn't hit her, because he knows that would have created a legal paper trail, and he's under alias number 12, so, or alias 17, since he's already swindled 18 women or 16 women out of their money. So that is, because that anger, I was like, I didn't like his voice. I don't know. I already didn't like it. It didn't match the hair, if that makes any sense. It didn't match the hair and I couldn't watch it anymore. I couldn't handle him looking like that. It was just so, to me, I could not do it. It was so bad. But so, okay, so I guess an overview of the film for me. So it was kind of boring in the beginning. It was just kind of slow. I think when a movie is slow paced, you notice the script more, you notice the setting more, you notice the ability to act a little bit more. And because it wasn't demanding your attention, you just hear a line or hear a line delivery and you're just like, that could have been so much better. Like, unfortunately, and I know we have to give new Black actresses and actors chances, but I know that lawyer had this one scene, it was not good, and I was like, where's Taraji? Where's Viola? Give me my regulars. I don't know. Viola's not really in type of movies, but you know, I was kind of itching for my established actresses, because having somebody play a part a certain way can go a really long way as far as how somebody feels about the movie. But I'm also a very big supporter of new faces, so I tried to let a lot of those moments go, because I'm like, she's still learning, she's still growing as an actress. Being in a Tyler Perry movie will do a lot for her career, and I'm really excited for her to improve. This is not to say I could have done a better job. I'm not an actress at all. But I think when a movie's slower, you just notice things like that a little bit more. So I wish, I don't know, if you're going to keep the pace slower, you have to make sure that your script, your line delivery, and your acting in general are on point, because that's something that viewers are going to notice. And then if you have faster paced, I guess you can allow for a little bit more sloppiness because you're just so focused on what's happening. But the back end of the movie definitely carried the movie, at least for me. And it tied in a lot of what was happening. I mean, if you saw the trailer, you knew the overall storyline. Like, you knew she killed him or killed him. Oh, speaking of which, she's being charged for murder beyond a reasonable doubt. What body? And maybe y'all can leave comments about the real legality of things like that. I have doubt. There's no body. I have doubt. You have her phone records and you have the location of where she was when she made all these calls. Did you check the area? She's old, so she could only have pushed him so far down whatever cliff she drove to or wherever the heck she went. So where's the body? I think once they had established they hadn't found a body, I knew he was alive because I just watched too much TV. But where's the body? I couldn't physically believe, or physically is fine. I couldn't physically believe that he was dead until I need a body. I'm sorry. She's supposed to be charged for murder without a reasonable doubt. Okay, yeah, there was blood loss. And I like how that was the one time I actually liked her lawyer. I like how she was trying to play that that's something that could have happened over time. But then I'm like, who keeps bleeding on the floor? It's weird. Like, I get the angle she's trying to play because, you know, it's like, we can deal with that later. Let's just get her off the murder charge. Who's constantly bleeding in the same spot on the floor over a period of time? That's weird. It's fucking weird. I would have been like, what angle are you trying to give me? Because that's weird. But I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be on the jury and I'm voting without a reasonable doubt. Where is the body? No, I don't want to let a killer walk free. I don't believe in calling her a cold-blooded killer. Like, I feel like people really don't know what that word means. Again, you don't even know the damage to said body. I get it, you saw the blood loss and stuff like that, but you don't actually know the full. She didn't remove an organ, you know, she's not selling it on the black market. Like, she's not calculated, which I think is something else they tried to call her. What body? So, there's that. Also, they were like pushing death penalty. I didn't think you got the death penalty for just killing one person. I know serial killers get the death penalty, but I didn't know you could kill one person and get the death penalty. Maybe that's something I should know. I don't know. Don't plan on killing anybody. Unless you do that to me, then yeah, you asked for it. But yeah, I didn't think you got the death penalty for one murder that you admitted to. I guess they're saying if she tried to plead not guilty, but regardless, I just didn't think you got the death penalty for one murder. There are people in jail for 5, chilling in jail for 5. So I'm not sure why she would have been executed, but okay. But yeah, like I said, the back half of this movie definitely carried the rest of it. It made the waiting for the end kind of worth it. And it all hits you at once. Because you're having flashbacks as she's having flashbacks and you're like, oh, should I have seen it here? Should I have seen it here? I still don't believe that there are people who predicted that she was in on it, because it's not like they have similar features. It's not like she gave full hints that she was a part of it. Thinking back on it, you're like, oh my god, she told her to go to the art show. She was like, you're going on this day, you're going on this date. She's obviously how he knew where she worked. You think about stuff like that after, but you're not putting that together while you're watching the movie. So it's whatever, if you do, congrats, you're a fucking genius, but I doubt it. Thanks for watching this video. If you want me to review or talk about any more movies, leave a comment in the comment section down below. And peace out.